Hello, it's me, Severed, coming back again to remind you by the good old days after 9/11. And also coming alongside with that, bringing a new part of what if deku was Hawk Moth. So, without further ado, let's just begin. And right now, after what happened in the last part and, Midoriya's foundings about the old timeline and the realization of Bonnick's existence and all, he decided to still prepare on his old plans since Bonnick cannot interfere in his plans. After all, like he said, she's a time watcher, not a time walker. She's not allowed to interfere with the timeline unless the timeline has already been interfered with. And well, right now, she can't do anything to him. As well, Midoriya is right now basically collecting a few extra villains for his villain day on the, sport festival. And one of the first people that Midoriya decided to go after was, the same old one, Mr. Cyrax. However, when Midoriya tried to akumatize Cyrax, had a weird barrier around of him that immediately deakumatizes his butterfly. So, Midoriya basically sent his favorite dog, Houndoom, to go there and snatch that thing out of him after realizing it could be the charm that Ladybug gave him. And after basically Houndoom did that, Midoriya still sent him another Akuma. This time he talked with Cyrax and telling him how, even though Ladybug have deakumatized him, he still didn't get his life back. He still didn't get his job. He's still lonely and alone and without any job in the world. And he can't even, pay rent. So, why not return with him? Why not give his meaningless life a purpose? To be reborn again as the once powerful he was. Midoriya knows how much it felt good. And he knows how much he wanna feel that goodness again. He knows how much hatred is in his heart, and he knows how much desperation he has. So why not bet it all on him? He's gonna give him a future and prove that he is the great mad genius that he is. And Cyrax agreed to that. He did not have any reason to, disagree or refuse or even had any reason to disagree. Regardless of that, Cyrax was one of another two villains that Midoriya collected, but those are for future moments. And regardless of that, right now in the sport festival, Emily is standing in front of, in the middle of all the other students while Midnight is talking about the sport festival in general, and how she's rolling for what will be the first part of the sport festival, and they all realize is the, obstacle course. As everybody's getting ready, Emily's taking a deep breath with Dusu, but then in the distance she notices Midoriya, what seemed to be holding a little butterfly that landed on his nose a moment ago. As she gets closer, and when she gets closer, the little butterfly flies away. While Midoriya said, "Oh, Emily, what are you doing here?" As Emily said, "The same as you doing, preparing. So, are you gonna..." As Midoriya said, "Oh, win? Well, I can win if I want to." As Emily said, "Wait, really? You're joking, right?" As Midoriya said, "Wanna bet on it? I bet you I can win this first obstacle course without any powers and beating everybody here." As Emily, wanna see him try, certainly. And Midoriya agreed. Although she wonders what, if he, fails, it just, he fails and then kind of makes himself look like an idiot. But since she's also betting with him, what is she losing? As, Midoriya said, "We'll decide that later. How about that?" As Emily just chuckles, saying, "You're on. I want to see you try. Not that I, don't have trust in you, but it's kind of hard, with all those people, and especially Katsuki and Todoroki. I know them from my class, and they are quite full of themselves." As Midoriya said, "Tell me about it." As the bell rings and everybody goes ahead. except Midoriya that stayed in the back while everybody got their feet frozen and, well, also the door is quite thin and a bit closed off. So after everybody cleared the way, Midoriya starts running, and when he runs, he does the same thing he did in the normal show, using a piece of a robot and going after the giant hole in the ground until he made it into the, mines arena. And when he did that, he basically had the same plan of putting all the mines in one place and using them as a trampoline of some sort. Emily is also using her miraculous, but she still doesn't use her ability to create senti-monsters, which will gonna cost her the whole thing. At the end, Midoriya managed to win actually, with everybody surprising and not even knowing who's that kid. Until, Aizawa pulls his infos on the screen saying that he's from the General Course and Corkless, which amazes everybody, including Baku and the other students. And when Baku sees Midoriya winning this, he grows so angry. He rushes to Midoriya and goes like, "What the fuck was that, Deku?" As Midoriya said, "Don't call me that, or else." As Baku looking into Midoriya's eyes, he noticed that odd anger, odd hatred. He's still unsure of him. There are some things that he doesn't know, and he still doesn't understand what happened last time they talked, but Bakugo can't help the feeling of something being out of order, something being misplaced. Just an odd feeling. Regardless of which, Bakugo walks away, because he knows Midoriya ain't gonna give him any answers right now. But after which, Emily walks up to Midoriya, which she was amazed. Simply, she was like, "How you, it's just, wow, I didn't," as Midoriya said, "Told you I can win." As Emily said, well, that certainly makes me feel. That was amazing, Midoriya." As Midoriya said, "Yeah, thanks, but I guess that's the end for me." As Emily said, "Wait, what?" As he said, "I can't do anything more. I can win the, obstacle course, but anything else, perhaps not that much. So I'll just gotta stay in the back." As Emily said, "But," as Midoriya said, "I'm sorry, Emily, but I really don't want to be a hero. That's for you hero students. I just want to live my life." As Emily well understand that, and Midnight was about to reveal how much Midoriya had of points, he told her that he forfeits the match, which made everybody confused, but Midoriya explaining that he doesn't really want to be a hero, so why keep fighting in this, sport festival when he doesn't really need to. He already proved that even him can do something and can even beat the hero course students. He doesn't need to prove anything else. Besides, he knows a few students from his own class that would like to be the heroes, so he would like to let those people have their chances. Regardless of which, Midnight takes his, surrendering into heart and say that Midoriya is out of the game or whatever. And, after everybody decided their teams, Midoriya kind of got scolded by Bakugo. After Bakugo and the whole people had their little cavalry battle, Midoriya was sitting in the, corner watching this until Bakugo finally followed him when the whole match stopped. He goes and tried to talk with Midoriya, but Midoriya doesn't talk with him. He told him that he has nothing to say to him, and beside, he doesn't care. Because not only the reason that he gave up the cavalry battle was because he just didn't want to be a hero, but also because giving up the cavalry battle meaning that Bakugo doesn't get the chance to beat him. After all, if Bakugo doesn't get the chance to beat him, he'll gonna always have that little voice in the back of his head that tells him that Deku managed to win managed to win something at him, or managed to win at something that Bakugo couldn't win in. Which means that Bakugo will always have that little self-doubt, that knowing that the quirkless child managed to beat him. and never did he have the chance to show that he is better. Which Baku, well, he hates how true that is, and almost like Midoriya can see right through him, read his mind, or feel his anger and emotions. And he can certainly do. Regardless of all of that, finally, the final part of the sport festival comes, which is the one-on-one battles. The first match, it was Emily versus Shinso, since Midoriya is not there. And, well, Shinso doesn't really have anything against Emily. She doesn't like her mother, doesn't like her classmates, and, well, she's just, well, an emo girl. No other way to say it. So, well, she won, beating him easily, using her miraculous, of course, or her quirk. Regardless of that, the second part of the sport festival comes, which is Todoroki Shoto versus Zero. But before that, Todoroki did have a little talk with his father. And while that talk with his father, it didn't go so well. Because his dad was still trying to convince his son to use his fire like he used to save his sister and brother, which Todoroki is still angry about his father. After all, if it wasn't for him, his mother would never be akumatized, and he hated him for that, even more than he hated him before. And he hated the fact that he needed to use his flames to save his sister and brother. He hated how weak he was, and how he needed to use that cursed flames. Regardless of all of that, he make his way into the arena, and, well, Zero immediately starts with attacking him, using his, well, tape to wrap up Shoto and about to spin her around. But while that's going on, Midoriya, somewhere in the building, Nuru comes out as Midoriya said, the voice of the angry child over his father who pushed his mother beyond recover. Somehow, this sounds so similar to his own mom. Well, let's not keep him waiting now, shall we, Nuru? As after Midoriya says Darkwing rise, he sends an Akuma, and while Zero is still spinning Shoto around, the Akuma arrives and, well, lands itself in Shoto's jacket, as the time seems to be slowing down, and Shoto hearing a voice saying, Ragnarok, I am Hawk Moth. As then Ragnarok said, I know who you are. You akumatized my mother. You, as he said, I know, right? I did akumatize your mother, but I didn't do it because I wanted her to be a villain. I did it because she deserved help. She was a little sick woman who all what she wanted was to hug her children, which I gave her the chance to do. She did hug you after all, didn't she? If you want to blame anybody for destroying your mother, you should blame your father. You know that better than anyone. After all, tell me, when she hugged you that night, the feeling that you had, wasn't it warm? You want to feel that hug again, but you're not allowed to because your father keeps her away from you. As Todoroki's thinking, and he's quite right, the warm embrace of his mother was something that he didn't feel for a long time, that when he felt it again, it just was so warm and loving. As Hawk Moth continues speaking, saying, I'll say something that I said to your mother again. I told her that I'll give her the chance to hug her son once more. Well, I'm gonna give you the chance to give your mother an embrace once more. No mother should be kept away from her children, and no child should be separated from his mother. And that's why I'll give you the power to take down your father and show the world how much of a corrupt hero he truly is. Would you agree? As Ragnarok immediately had no reason to disagree, no hesitation. He immediately transformed into what seemed to me a white and black knight of ice and fire, and when he basically freed himself from Zero's little bindings, he immediately gave Zero an even worse treatment than the original show, by Zero being the first frozen of the entire stadium. And not only did he freeze Zero and everybody in the stadium, but he also created a giant dome around the entire place, encasing it in ice. On the other side, or inside the bathrooms, Emily, that was washing her face, getting ready for the next match eventually, suddenly feeling the earthquake that's going on and seeing the ice growing on her, mirror. She immediately tries to come out to see what's going on, but suddenly she is met by Hawk Moth as she was about to mutter, saying, "Feathers!" But immediately Hawk Moth puts his hand on her mouth and pushes her against the wall, saying, "Shh, keep it down now. We don't want this to happen, do we? I just want to talk, Emily. So let's chat." As Emily's trying to, push him, he said, "Come on, calm down. If I really wanted to take your miraculous, wouldn't I just do it now? I have you pinned against the wall and your mouth covered. And your Akuma, and your Kwame certainly can't do anything to stop me." As Emily finally stopped, slowed down, and she said, "What do you want?" As Hawk Moth said, "Now that's better. I was wondering, how are you doing?" As Emily said, "You're not seriously here just to chat, are you?" As he said, "Well, not really. Chatting with you is kind of a secondary mission that I had in mind. I just wanted to hear your opinion on our last conversation." As Emily said, "Last conversation?" As he said, "You did think of what I said, did you?" As Emily's looking down a bit, while Hawk Moth said, "Come on, Emily. You know what I said is right." As she pushes his hand away, saying, "No, it's not right. It's," as Midoriya said, "of course it's not right, because it's objectively wrong." As Emily said, "What?" As he said, "The old me was thinking a bit too close-minded. Maybe I'm not a villain, Emily. I'm just the kind of hero that people don't want. A different thinker. You may call me crazy, but I just have a different idea in mind than everybody else. I don't like the present society, Emily. That's why I want to change it. People are discriminated against because they don't have a quirk, they have a villainous quirk, or they are just a heteromorph. Tell me, what kind of society discriminates against people that just looks different or have quirks that are not as flashy and fun-looking as other quirks? What kind of society just pushes aside and tells everybody to keep down and be like walking sheeps and not defend for themselves while the heroes come with their hero licenses? What kind of society tells somebody to not go and help the people because he doesn't have a hero license? A society that is basically telling us to let people die because we're not allowed to interfere, keeping us on what seemed to be just the watching stage while other is just performing on it. Heroes and don't do their hero job unless people are there to watch them, because what's the point of defeating the villain without any eyes to see you? After all, they won't gonna get any of the fame or the money or the glory. They race each other to defeat the villain because it just makes them grow in popularity. Just makes no sense to me. As he slammed his, cane into the ground, and Emily's hearing what he's saying. There are certainly some points that she cannot deny. As Hawk Moth continues saying, "That's why I need to change this world, Emily. Just go on the internet and watch any of the attacks that I did before. None of them has resulted in any casualties. Well, beside that Inferno incident, but that was when I couldn't even control my own powers. Though I take responsibility for that too. But still, I want to make a world where everybody can live happily ever after. A world where everyone doesn't need to be discriminated against just because how they are born. A world with heroes are heroes just because it's the right thing to do and not it's because fame or glory. Just look around of you in the city, you'll see billboards filled with all these advertisements. The hero Hawk's advertising for the new watches he just made a contract with, or the next outfit that Ladybug just created, or maybe the new cleaning washing soap of the hero wash. Just makes me so angry. When did the word hero lose its meaning? As Emily just looking down while listening to all of what he's saying, but she said, but even though there are still a few good heroes, as he said, is that so? Well, I'll be happy to prove you wrong. In fact, that is why I am here today, as the place suddenly shakes again, and Midoriya said, he's already at it, isn't he? As Midoriya said, please stay here and be safe, Emily. As she said, why are you so worried about me? You're creeping me out. As he said, because you can understand me. We both have similar powers, and we both come from similar, situations. I want you to be by my side, Emily. I want you to help me to make this new world. And I can help you too. As Emily said, help me? Help me how? As he said, first of all, I do not lie to you as much as your mother does. And second of all, I can bring your father back. As Emily suddenly goes quiet, while Hawk Moth continues saying, so she didn't tell you, did she? As Emily said, tell me what? Tell me what? What are you talking about? As he said, of course she didn't. Why would she? She's far too selfish and she is far too caring. Well, let's just say that your father can be back to life, combining both miraculous of the ladybug and the cat will result in you giving you a wish, any wish, and even including ones that would bring back the dead. As Emily just screamed at him saying, you're lying, no way you're saying the truth, it can't. As he said, well, if you don't want to believe me, then so be it. But you can go and ask your mother. After all, as Emily said, but as Midoriya said, Emily, I know you're distressed. I know that you don't know your place in the world. And I know how much you despise your mother. Well, I can be all of that for you. I'll be there for you when she wasn't. I'll help you when no one else offered a hand. And I'm gonna bring the person you love the most back into this world. All what I need of you is just to join me. And let us build a world where people can live happily. And not live with a fake smile on their faces like the world that All Might offers. Well, I guess it's time for me to leave. I have other things to deal with. Think about what I said. And just think about it, please. It's time for you to look inward and ask yourself the bigger questions. Who am I and who should I trust? Goodbye, my era. As Hawk Moth just steps into a shadow, leaving Emily's there, thinking to herself before she rolls on the ground and still sitting in the corner thinking. She can't believe it. What's going on? And, well, while Deuce is trying to talk with her, she's just thinking, and on the other side, Hawk Moth is arriving in the stadium with the Ragnaroks fighting against Endeavor and All Might. Because Midoriya specifically ordered him not to freeze All Might, and while Endeavor hits Endeavor. And right now, as they are fighting, suddenly Ladybug appears and all of the cameras point on her, showing that she arrived before pointing into Hawk Moth that is still there, shown in front of everybody. No one being unable to see him. Everybody can see the image of Hawk Moth being a little kid while Ladybug have arrived, as she said, "Hawk Moth," as Hawk Moth said, "Well, what took you so long, Ladybug?" And this is gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this part, and what do you think gonna happen in the next part. Well, I have nothing more to say then. Savage was here.